Yo, what's up? It's Yo Remy. So, if you see my other videos, I do a lot and talk a lot about building marketplaces and specifically using a platform or tool called Sharetribe. So, I've built a lot of marketplaces like Studio Time, which is like the Airbnb for music studios. So, that's a space rental marketplace. And then I did another video based off the comments for building a product marketplace like a Grailed or Goat app marketplace. You can see my other video for that, but it's called Uni. And then one of the other kind of marketplaces that I've had a lot of requests for people to do a video on is a services marketplace. So basically how to build an Upwork or a Fiverr services type marketplace. So I'm going to do a video on this right now on how to build a services marketplace using Sharetribe. So this is actually going to be I'm going to break it down into two videos because for the sake of this, just to keep it easy, because I did build a marketplace already. You can check it out. It's called withoutcode.io. So basically the concept is a services marketplace where you can hire experts to build your business without code. So it's fairly simple. And the reason why I'm going to break it down into two videos though is because I actually use Sharetribe for the kind of core marketplace functionality. And that's using Sharetribe Go, their hosted marketplace platform. And then I use Instapage for these landing pages. So you can see right here on the URL withoutcode.io, this is a landing page, the marketplace homepage using Instapage. So a few other pages too that I have on there, for instance, hire experts, off your expertise, why, and so forth. So I wanted to give it a little bit slicker kind of look and feel for the marketplace. So that's why I use these Instapage kind of custom landing pages. All right, so you can, as I mentioned, you can check it out. You can see it withoutcode.io because I do like to do these videos and have actual live products or kind of URLs, so that way you can kind of click around, not only watch the video but just actually kind of test it out and use these products and get a good idea of how you could kind of build your own or customize your own based off of that actual kind of clickable demo. All right, so we'll just kind of jump right into it. So this first video is going to kind of walk you through the steps to just get started with the core marketplace functionality using Sharetribe. So when you go to the Sharetribe website, you can simply sign up for their Go. So for Sharetribe Go, you can start on a trial. So we'll actually just go there right now. So here's the Sharetribe homepage right here. So it's fairly simple. You can just click on Get Started right here. It's like email, and then you create an account. And then one of the things after that you're going to do for this that I is kind of where this starts to get specific to services is you click on the drop down for services marketplace. So fairly simple. You can just, it's not paid. You can start a free trial as you saw on there. And once you click on the services, then you're basically going to get to an admin panel because they're actually going to set up this kind of like templated marketplace. All right, so here's the actual admin panel for the Without Code Sharetribe marketplace. So we'll see right here, here's the kind of steps that they have in getting started. So we're just kind of go through step by step on how I actually set this up and kind of configured it to be this kind of services marketplace for Without Code. So the basic details on this, it's very straightforward, but this is the first kind of, this is the first step you're going to get to after you initially sign up for Sharetribe Go. And I will mention this actual admin panel right here is an actual live admin panel. And this is not a paid plan. So this is on the trial. So this is exactly what you would see. Obviously these, it's just configured for Without Code for my specific use case. But you can enter multiple languages right here. I just use English for default. You can see the marketplace name. You can see the slogan right here that I entered, and then the description right there. So something where this gets kind of specific is the search help text. So I'm assuming that users are going to potentially search all the listings and all the service providers, maybe by the business type of what they're looking to build. You know, the tool, the platform, for instance, if they're looking for a Sharetribe expert, Webflow expert. So that's the kind of, that's the hint text that you'll see right here on that drop down. And then some some of the other pages that I wanted to leverage Sharetribe for hosting were the about page, the how it works, the privacy policy, terms of use, just some of those kind of like boilerplate pages that didn't need to be custom. So I just have that right here, and that's going to be in the top bar. And then you can see these kind of agreement text. So for instance, if I want to have anything very specific to the marketplace that I want users to agree, that's where I would enter that. So that's the basic details. Very straightforward, takes a few minutes at most. Here's the kind of design section of the admin panel. So you can see the logo is very simple on this, and I like to kind of keep a just very minimalistic kind of logo for all the companies and kind of MVPs and side projects that I build. So I think I mentioned it in some of the other videos, but I actually use Snappa just to create the logos. So you can see right here, I literally just use Snappa. Just created this kind of like template and just use like Archivo Black. It's literally just a plain text as a W. So that's how I create the logo. Boom, click over here, download, and then all of a sudden I have a logo. So there it is right there. Upload it here on this kind of logo. I'm actually not using the cover photo or small cover photo functionality of Sharetribe. Typically you would have this displayed above the main listings. But I'm actually hiding that, just using a little bit of customization down here in this custom script, simply because I'm using a custom homepage that's not on Sharetribe. So to make a better user experience, I want people to go to that homepage and click through straight to the listings without that kind of header section, since that's what the homepage is for. So it's not really relevant for this MVP, the small cover right there. So for the domain, I will mention too, since I said that I'm still in the trial right now, I'm not using a custom domain for this. So I'm just using the withoutcode.sharetribe.com. So how that kind of plays out to the actual MVP and user experience, just really quickly, when someone goes to withoutcode.io, all these pages once again are hosted on Instapage. And so that's that main URL. Now, when you click on Get Started or any of the kind of core marketplace call to actions, it routes you to withoutcode.sharetribe.com. So once again, that's not a custom domain, so that doesn't require a pro plan or anything on Sharetribe. If I was on a pro plan, this footer down here just mentioning it's powered by Sharetribe wouldn't be there, and I could have a custom footer. But for the sake of this right now, I just really don't need that. I think it's not going to make a big difference. So why not just be on this kind of free trial still? So that's the domain. So the new layout is going to be like our next kind of step in the initial setup and configuration. So I would recommend just using a new style. It's a little bit slicker, kind of updated look and feel for your marketplace. You could not have that if you want. You kind of want like the older style hamburger menus that they have if you go on the old layout. So the top bar up here. So this is specific to without code. So I want the main call to action for people to be to add an expert listing. So in order to do that, on the top bar, of course, I have the title right here, add expert listing, which you can now see over the top right. That's the main call to action. The default menu links are going to be the about and contact. And then I also added a few custom menu links. So where those links are, when you click on the menu on the left, it kind of pops out on the left side, and you can see home, about, contact us. I also added hire experts, add experts, the without code showcase, and then DIY. That way I can integrate kind of all the URLs for user experience, and there's an easy navigation between these Instapage and this kind of Sharetribe hosted marketplace. And the easy way that you'll see right here, how you'll notice which platform which pages live on, is once again the URL. So the hire experts is going to link to the main listings on the Sharetribe hosted. Same thing with add an expert listing, because that's core marketplace functionality. But the kind of without code showcase and the without code DIY do not leverage Sharetribe because they're not core components of the marketplace, and those are going to be in Instapage. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, things will start to make sense in a second video, because I'm going to walk you through all the different pages in Instapage. But this first video, once again, is going to be on Sharetribe and how to initially kind of get set up on Sharetribe and configure that so you have your core marketplace functionality for kind of building like your Upwork style marketplace. Something that Sharetribe also just added some kind of cool functionality is the ability to link the logo to whatever URL you want. So this W in the top left, the logo in the header, you can see it actually links to the Instapage hosted homepage. So that's great, because instead of this on the, without code.sharetribe.com linking to just that URL, it actually links back to the homepage. So for the user, if they click on it, it seems like a kind of fully custom site and, fairly standard kind of best practice navigation. So that's the top bar kind of setup, and we'll go now to the footer. So actually, as you can see right here, I'm not on a paid plan, so that's not something I can enable. I don't really need it, simply because there's not like a footer needed on this core marketplace functionality. If I was on a paid plan, I could have a footer, and you can see all these different kind of configurations I could do for it. Once again, on the landing page, Sharetribe does do hosted landing pages, but you're kind of locked in with the constraints of that. So I want to just host mine on Instapage, and also since I wanted to get a little bit, kind of do a little bit different design, and not have those constraints. All right, so here's where we get specific to this marketplace concept, and it being a services kind of Upwork style marketplace. So the fields for the users. So when you sign up or for an account without code, it's very straightforward. So you can sign up with Facebook login, which I'll get to later. The configuration of that. We have the basic kind of user fields for name right here, email, and you can also log in or sign up. With just a name and an email too. It's not just Facebook. But all this kind of information is just fairly straightforward, best practice. I did add these 3 fields down here that you'll see. So they're just basically what I did is I clicked on the drop down for select a new field type. These are all just text fields. So a portfolio URL, Twitter URL, and then product hunt profile URL. So the reason why I added all those is these are no code experts that are signing up, and these are all the different URLs that are going to be relevant and provide context for those users, for people that are potentially looking at messaging them or requesting to hire them. So the portfolio URL is going to be public. The Twitter URL and the product hunt profile URL are actually going to be hidden on the user profiles, but that's going to be information that as an admin we can see. So that'll help us vet as an admin all the users and some of the experts that are adding their services. So I'll just click on the profile, my profile right here, because I'm logged in as a user, so you can see my public profile and how those fields look. So here's the basic, obviously, like I have that profile picture. Here's like my username, not just my first and last name in that field. Here's just like my basic kind of about. And then as I mentioned, that portfolio URL is publicly displayed. So that's right there. And that's for people to reference my work. I have 2 open listings. So these are right here. And then it also shows, we have the follow or kind of unfollow capability for user to user. So that's pretty cool that Sharetribe does that. So I follow these 3 people. So that's that. So we'll go back, we'll kind of keep going through this initial setup and configuration. So that's user fields. So for listing categories, so typically on the main kind of listings, you could have user categories. But for the sake of this, we really don't need it because it's fairly straightforward. So I'm actually not using categories. I am using more information on the listings, of course, that are very specific that help users kind of filter and search by. So instead of using categories, I'm using these listing fields and filters that are actually information that's displayed directly on each listing and not just main high-level categories for listings. So these are all kind of basically pre-populated, so like listing title, price, description. What I did add is portfolio URL, which that's very straightforward. So to do that, I just add new field, drop down and that's an open text field. So you can see that. I add hour minimum for projects, platforms, and tools, business type, project budget. So all of those. The hour minimum for project is a drop down, and then all the others are simply just checkbox groups. And so either it was a drop down right here or a checkbox group that I clicked on to add a new field. So that's very straightforward. I didn't want like an expiration date or location, simply because those are not relevant for this kind of this concept. So we'll go actually over here. So I'm gonna navigate to the actual listings so you can see what those listing fields and filters look like. So you saw the checkbox on that. Those are actually displayed right here on the left on the main listings. So that makes it easy for users to then be able to kind of filter all the listings by those different kind of checkbox selections that are fields on each listing, if that makes sense. So as you see, platforms and tools, business type, project budget, that's displays on the left. Now, if you click on the listings, of course, those are all displayed on each listing since each listing has all those fields. So hopefully that makes sense. It's very straightforward, and that's kind of how they handle the listing fields and filters for each. So I did mention I don't have listing categories. I also don't utilize multiple order types. Since I'm simply doing one for offering services, I just added that. Through the initial kind of setup, when you click on the free trial for Sharetribe Marketplace, I mentioned that you just need to select on a services marketplace. So when that was through the setup, so if you change your mind and say, for instance, you were going to do like a spaces marketplace and then you want to do, offer services too, it's very simple. You don't have to go through and set up a whole nother account. You can just click on add a new order type right here. So for this, I clicked on offering services. So for other concepts, for instance, Studio Time, which is an Airbnb for music studios, so that's renting spaces. I initially, when I built that MVP, clicked on renting products. When I built Uni, and you can see my other video, which is a marketplace for selling basically like high fashion, like home goods, like a goat or kind of Grail style marketplace that's selling products. So those are different order types, and that's specific to each kind of marketplace type or concept. So hopefully that provides a little bit more kind of context in what you can kind of do with these different types. But for services, we'll just click on the edit for that so you can see how I kind of configured it. But the name is just offering services, of course. So that's when you click on add an expert listing, it would just say offering services. The actual call to action button is configured specific to this. So each listing, the main call to action is going to be to request to hire that no-code expert. So you can customize that. You could say, for instance, like request to hire for project or whatever you want. So that's fairly simple. So I click on allow sellers to add a price to their listing. So you could do it without prices. So this could just be general listings. But obviously, if it's going to be kind of all based around payments and accepting payments, which is the second kind of selection, then I need to have that. I'm not selling products that require shipping or any kind of physical goods, so I don't need to select that field. And then availability, I want to keep this open because this isn't a per kind of availability. This is just like on a per hour, kind of per project, per consultant kind of basis, whatever the different, how an expert wants to offer their services. So I don't really think that it requires any kind of availability management. That's just another kind of, I think, friction point could potentially kind of block bookings. So we're not going to do that. And we did select on the pricing units per hour. Now I added per project also and per consultation just because I wanted to test and allow people to kind of add that. And so I'll click right here. So you can see on this, so this is once again without code.sharetribe.com is the Sharetribe hosted kind of core marketplace. So you saw over here the per hour, right? And here's a per project and per consultation. Now how that actually looks on the marketplace listings, you'll see this listing right here. The first one on the left at the top is per hour. Now the other one on the right is per consultation. So that's how it allows for two different kind of listing types. And the per consultation, basically what I was kind of going at for that is, you can maybe hire a no-code expert just to have some kind of like exploratory call, Skype or just kind of like product kind of walkthrough or some like initial help that might not be on a project kind of engagement basis. So why not just allow people to offer like initial kind of exploratory consultation, Skypes or whatever. So that's how I configure that in this actual kind of pricing units. So that's the order types. We'll keep going through. So for the payment system, I used PayPal for this. So I literally just kind of connected my PayPal business account. configured the marketplace kind of settings for that. Eventually would probably want to use Stripe. Stripe's a little bit, less friction, allows for just simple kind of credit card entry for payments. But for the sake of just kind of validating an MVP, it's really not needed for right now. If I have, 15, 20 minutes later, I might do that. So social media, so that's typically just like the kind of information you want to pre-populate and share. And then also to how you configure Facebook login. So I did configure that. I just went to developers.facebook.com, create a simple kind of developer an app for this, and then enter the information. I'm not going to screen share this because it has like the app secret, and keys and whatnot. We'll just kind of cruise through that. So that's where you would enter this in the social media kind of area. So something new that Sharetribe Go has is they actually have this kind of SEO section. They didn't have that before, but you can kind of do some SEO optimization here with keywords and some kind of tags and whatnot. I haven't done that yet simply because I haven't even launched this marketplace yet. So I haven't done analytics either. So if I wanted to basically have my Google Analytics tracking ID here. So if I'm going to launch this on Product Hunt, like I'm of course going to put in my Google Analytics so I can kind of keep track of things after I launch this, and it could potentially turn into an actual company. But for the sake, once again, of this kind of initial setup and especially kind of demo, I haven't done that. So the next thing you could do, and would be kind of part of the initial setup and configuration on Sharetribe, is this instruction text. So this basically is a kind of like hint text or subtext that displays when users click to sign up or create an account. I haven't added that here since it's fairly straightforward. I want to keep it as lightweight as possible. For emails, since I'm on a free plan, I actually don't have it configured for like sending from a custom domain. So the user email confirmation and then welcome message is actually not sent from email at withoutcode.io. It's just simply using the Sharetribe email sent. I don't need it right now. This is just like an initial MVP. So we're good with that. So for the settings, this is going to be actually one of the last steps for actually initially signing up and kind of configuring your marketplace. But on here, one of the things that I did allow, so these, I believe these are just the pre-populated in the access and contact preferences. But I allow users to message each other freely. So what that means is if I click on a listing for a user, I can actually, I'm logged in, so I can't message myself, but we'll actually go over here. So we'll go to back to the main listings. So here's an actual real user. So instead of just requesting to hire, which is that main call to action, I could actually contact them. So you can see that. So we actually have like a kind of a peer-to-peer messaging system on here. Now, if you're building a marketplace that has a potential for high kind of platform slippage, which is basically like users messaging each other and taking the transaction offline, and there's enough information that you can have on the listings where they wouldn't need to message, and it should just be targeted towards getting them to book. Then what you could do is you could disable this. So what that would do is then it wouldn't have that contact button, and it wouldn't be as tempting for users to message each other and to take transactions offline, which could result in platform slippage. So that's that selection. That's something that's, I believe fairly new that Sharetribe had introduced to Sharetribe Go. So the other thing is search preferences. So you can do keyword location or keyword and location. So this concept, I believe, is not going to be dependent on location. So what I'm assuming is that if you want to hire a no-code expert, it really doesn't matter where they live. So we actually don't need to account for that in the search. It's in our primary search. We're also not going to have any kind of map views or maps on the listings for locations. So I actually hid that, and I'll kind of get into how I hid that later in the main listings. So that's keyword search I have selected. And then something else that I did in the selection for listing preferences is I allow users to post comments to the listing. So if you want to see that, I'll click on this real user right here. So here's their listing. So I allow for a public discussion right here because, for instance, this user hasn't been hired yet through the marketplace. But if I want to kind of create some kind of conversation like social proof around this user or their listing or their services, I could certainly do that. If I have experience working with them in the past, I could add a comment down here saying, hey, they're great to work with in the past. So that kind of helps with, not having ratings or reviews or any kind of like sense of engagement in the marketplace. And I typically do this on a lot of kind of Sharetribe MVP builds. So I do have that ability right there to allow users to post comments. So that's actually kind of wrapping up some of the initial setup through the admin panel. There are a few other things that are specific to the Sharetribe hosted marketplace, and those are going to be the pages that I'm leveraging, which are the About page. So basically, I'm using the About page, how it works, privacy policy, and the terms of use. These are all going to be on Sharetribe hosted pages. So those aren't in the admin on the admin panel. They're simply just direct links that you can find from your navigation, and it just comes with placeholder text, and then you click on edit. So that's just like on-page text editor. It's fairly simple. You can kind of have this WYSIWYG kind of tools over here, and then you click save. So that's very straightforward. So basically, once you go through the initial kind of free trial setup, you're going to get to your admin panel, and then you're going to get to these pages. You can edit these, and basically at that point, you'll have your initial kind of Sharetribe marketplace set up. So once again, that's going to be how I set up withoutcode.sharetribe.com. Now, what I'm going to get into in this next video is how I actually created the without code homepage. So that's going to be this page right here that I'm screen sharing. And then some of these other pages, for instance, the without code showcase, the why no code, or offer your expertise. These are all different landing pages that were created in Instapage and are basically integrated through URL kind of linking to the core Sharetribe marketplace. So that way it provides a custom kind of look and feel and user experience. And it isn't that kind of stock Sharetribe looking marketplace. But that's going to be in the next video. But with this first video, you should be able to go through basically from initial idea of like an Upwork style marketplace to having a fully kind of configured setup Sharetribe basic marketplace. So hopefully this video was helpful, and the next video will cover the kind of custom landing pages that I have for this marketplace, and then some kind of last kind of configurations and how they actually integrate with both platforms of Instapage and Sharetribe. Thanks.